The following story is an account of a young boy called Matt, who from a very young age had an amazing amount of knowledge about his previous life. Matt's mother, Melissa, was intrigued about a story that her 3-year-old son had been talking about, where he appeared to know all the technical details of firefighting in New York City. However, they lived in California. Melissa said that from a very early age, her son Matt had been obsessed with firefighting, where he would get up every morning and put on his firefighter outfit. His mother had bought him a small firefighter outfit as a reward for potty training. After putting on the outfit, he would tell his mother that he was going to work. He would then pick up his play axe and proceed to chop at the walls. His mother asked him why he was chopping at the walls, and his response was because there is a fire behind them. Because of his infatuation with being a firefighter, he was asked whether he wanted to be a firefighter when he grew up, and he said, "No, I am already a firefighter." Matt even had his bedroom set up like a fire station with everything according to where he says it should go. He even had 4 fire hats in his parents' bedroom, and his explanation was that they could get to them more quickly if there was a fire. Matt said he wanted to progress to having a real air tank and real axe for his fire station because in the case of a real fire, the toy ones would not work. The young boy appeared to be extremely protective of his family. Every night before going to bed, he would put on his fire boots and helmet, walk into his sister's room and shine his flashlight around the room and then announce all clear. As soon as his procedure was carried out, they could relax and sleep. Matt was also concerned in the event of not being able to get out of the room because if he was unable to open the door, how could he rescue everyone? So his father made an escape plan for him along with a special drill so that he would know exactly where to go in an emergency. This seemed to settle Matt. Their son made many comments that would make his parents laugh, such as driving through red lights with the sirens on when they were not actually attending an emergency. He also told his parents that they would really enjoy the Christmas parties at the fire station because everyone had a lot of fun. He said that on one occasion they had made some popcorn, and when the popcorn burned, they took it outside and sprayed it with a fire hose and laughed about it. He even tried to give his mother directions to his fire station and said, "You take a left, then a right, and his station is on the left." Up to that point, his parents realised that their son's keen interest in firefighting was just the tip of the iceberg, where he would constantly talk about it. Their son seemed to know everything about firefighting, and whenever they asked him a question, he would laugh and say, "Why are you asking me this? You know I know the answers." But when he did talk about firefighting, his voice would change, and he would become extremely serious and matter-of-fact. At the start of his son's fascination with firefighting, his mother was initially uncomfortable, but later came to the conclusion that he was really talking about a past life, because there was no way that a 3-year-old could have that much knowledge. Melissa said that her son could not have learned about firefighting from any family relative or friend, and nobody she knows was a firefighter. She said that she's a nurse, but in the last few years had been a stay-at-home mother with her children, and knows what Matt had seen or heard. One evening when Matt was 3 years old, things went to another level when shortly before bedtime, his mother was reading him a book called Curious George in the Big City. The book showed cartoon-like drawings of the Manhattan skyline with skyscrapers that included the Twin Towers and the Statue of Liberty in the background. Matt then pointed to the Twin Towers and said, very matter-of-factly, "Bad men knocked these buildings over." Then in an agitated voice added, "Planes broke them. I couldn't help. People jumped because they wouldn't wait for me to get to them. I was stuck. I was on the floor with my breathing mask on and used my axe to break a hole in the wall so I could get the people out because they're calling for help. I couldn't help. I couldn't get the people out." After hearing what her son had just said, Michelle was totally dumbfounded. How the hell did her son know about the 9/11 tragedy? They'd never even spoke about it or even looked at any pictures. Michelle noticed a change in her son when he started to speak about the technical aspects of firefighting. He showed no emotion except his concerns about protecting his family, and on this particular occasion he was clearly upset. When word had spread about Matt's vivid recollection about not only being a firefighter, but had been involved in the terrible 9/11 incident, Jeff Keane, a retired assistant fire chief from Connecticut, offered to give his opinion of the young boy's description, and was amazed about Matt's technical knowledge of firefighting, along with the boy's sense of humour, language, swagger, and selflessness of a professional firefighter. Jeff also laughed when Matt said that he was not an actual firefighter, but was in fire rescue. Jeff said that he must have been in a rescue unit, and that is exactly the way they spoke. Fire rescue are the elite of the FDNY. Apparently Matt had also talked about getting a new fire truck because their old one was wrecked and the new one had a TV on it and a boat on top. Jeff said he was perfectly correct about the truck, and the TV screen was probably a computer terminal. Some trucks do have small boats because they also do water rescue, as Manhattan is an island surrounded by water. Matt was sure that his hat is black with a red stripe, and that he had a picture of a wolf with a moon on his truck, and he always refers to the truck as his, and he would ride in the front of the truck, but he's not a chief. Jeff Keane said that the FDNY helmets are black with reflective tape on them, so they can be seen at night. Keane now believed that Matt was probably a lieutenant or captain. Matt also described being a scuba diver and spoke about his gear. When he was given flippers and a mask as a present, he put them on and walked backwards into the pool saying, "See, this is how you do it." Matt was correct because anything a fireman wears on the job was called their gear. Many in the fire rescue are scuba divers, and going backwards into the water is how it was done. There appears no doubt that Matt had done it before. Matt had previously said that people were falling from a building because they wouldn't wait. He said he was on the floor with his breathing mask on and used his axe to break a hole in the wall so we could get the people out. His mother decided to correct him and said, "No, baby, they were not falling, they were jumping. It was not that they wouldn't wait, they couldn't wait." Michelle said that there was no way that her son could not have been a firefighter, seeing his knowledge and small details of the job, along with his feelings and deep concern to help people. He is a firefighter deep in his soul. However, even more evidence mounted when Matt recalled even more details of his former life and remembered running down the stairs in one of the towers screaming that they had orders to get out immediately, where Matt told another man to go ahead and he would catch up as soon as he got to the people who were calling for help. Obviously, Matt had never made it out alive, which is why this life he was so obsessed in his early play with trying to break down the walls in his house because he believed there was a fire behind them. Matt was reenacting his last moments because it had unfinished business, saving the people trapped behind the wall. In conclusion, how on earth could a young boy have such deep knowledge of firefighting at such a young age? Everything Matt has said or role-played leaves no doubt that he was a firefighter who had lost his life in one of the Twin Towers and had now reincarnated as a young boy called Matt in California, who continued to relive the life of a firefighter.